Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of coffee. And how did Chester Bennington used to warm up his voice? I have a few clips here from his vocal warm-ups and another one in which he discusses the screaming techniques he used to use, and I want to analyze that with you guys. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Kyle. I'm a singer-songwriter and voice teacher. As a singer-songwriter, I invite you to check out my latest single. It's called Someone Else Already. In fact, you should be listening to it here in the background. I'll ask my editor to add that to the video, and you will hear that this one is a bit softer compared to my previous singles if you are into heavy rock. I also have music in that direction, so check it out. I'll leave the link for my streaming platforms down here. And as a vocal coach / voice teacher, my work is based and focused on laryngeal biomechanics and physiology. Basically, what the muscles that we have inside our larynxes, they do in order to get the sounds that we have in contemporary singing. And that's exactly what we will be guiding this analysis here. We will be listening to Chester either practice his vocal exercise or explain them, and we will be discussing what's happening at a physiological level so that we understand more about those behaviors as well. If you want to become a singing student, check out the link in the description to get all of the info on my online singing program, Building Your Voice. In there we cover a range of different topics inside vocal technique, how to belt, how to sing low notes with power, but also how to be really expressive with your voice using soft sounds that we call passive vocal schemes. We talk about vocal ornaments such as yodels, vibratos, runs. We have a complete module dedicated to vocal distortions. Yeah! How to practice and apply vocal distortions in a way that's safe, that will not hurt your voice. All of that and much more. Again, to get all of the info, click the link below. Now, without further ado, let's listen to Chester Bennington warming up his voice.
I think that might actually happen. That's some Freddie Mercury shit.
How high was that? G sharp 5. Yeah, he's using some of the intervals on the way up and then some other intervals on the way back down, but it's all the major scale. Now, what do we have here? First of all, that so that N sound is a voiced bilabial consonant sound, nasal as well. And just by having that consonant there, we are activating a little bit of the nasal resonance. Ma, ma, ma. But now, if I'm not mistaken, he's also modifying that vowel a little bit to make it a little bit darker. Ma, 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 ma. So it's almost like if he was in the middle between m and ma. It's not ma, 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 ma. No. Ma, 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 ma. We still have some, let's say, space there, meaning that we are still trying to raise the soft palate a little bit. However, we are not raising the palate a lot. It's not ma, 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 ma. Not at all. And his vocal folds, let's hear. Active tension, ma, ma, ma. Ma, 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 ma. He's still keeping his vocal folds in active tension. He's not doing ma, 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 ma. It's not this. No! He's still belting out that sound.
I think that might actually happen.
Yeah. No! D sharp.
That's some Freddie Mercury shit.
Yeah, that would be the G sharp. Now, the reason why this is a great exercise is, first of all, we, again, using that bilabial nasal consonant, the M, we are already attacking that idea of having some nasal resonance. We are exercising a little bit what we call the supraglottic pressure, which are the structures above the level of the larynx. So we are working with the soft palate. We are working with the lips to create that sound. And first of all, because he was keeping the vowel consistent, the syllables in general consistent, he was able to focus on what really matters for the pitch itself, which is the larynx. And the muscles inside the larynx, they can work to stretch the vocal folds and to shorten the vocal folds, keeping the vocal folds firm. In the back portion, we have a few muscles inside the larynx that we call the firming muscles or the posterior muscles. These muscles embrace the vocal folds, and they are also being used a lot here, especially when he goes to that G sharp. So if you're able to do this, you will feel some tension in the back of your throat. That's because these muscles are embracing your vocal folds to avoid breaks. And when you are singing above the C, well, the C5, the high C, we already assume that these muscles are working a lot because they also accumulate the function of helping the vocal folds stretch. All right, so that's the reason why if you want to avoid vocal breaks, working on exercises that go above the high C is a great strategy because again, they work these muscles when they are strong, they prevent your voice from breaking. Let's watch another video. Okay, here we have, first of all, more space, hey, and also something that's closer to a classical sound. Space is part of that, but also a lot of activation. Now he's not relying on the supraglottic position to help the vocal folds be active, because when we increase the supraglottic pressure, we don't need to put as much effort at the level of the vocal folds. The vocal folds will still close because we have some rebound pressure. Again, when you close spaces up here, part of that air is not able to escape to the environment that will return to your larynx, so it will help your vocal folds close, meaning that you can get the same level of closure with less effort if you narrow the structures. Here, he's not relying on that. He's adding more tension at the level of the vocal folds, keeping the whole thing super active and opening space. Yeah! Sounds more operatic, right? Even now, again, back to a more narrowed sound, ma 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 ma, and here in general we have some vibrato or more vibrato. Ma 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 ma. Sometimes getting that coordination between the muscles, especially when we are not, well, I told you guys that we have a different configuration that happens above the high C, right? When we are thinking about especially the range between E4 and B4, that requires a really specific coordination between CTs and TAs. Something that might be really tricky to get, is one of the trickiest parts of our range to sing, and it is a good strategy so that we don't mix up the sensations, to start on the higher note there and then work on the descending line, how he's doing. Instead of doing ma 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 ma, he's starting on the highest note, ma, to make sure that the physiological configuration will be the physiological configuration that will give access to that range, and then he just works his way back. Ma 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 ma, but it could have been ma 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 ma.
Chester.
Yes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
All right, beat it.
Precisely the B. Hey! And of course, working on the distortions. We'll talk more about the distortions later because I have one more clip for you.
All right, how about huddle, please?
Oh, I got it.
Huddle. That way. Huddle. No. Now you gotta walk up there and go, Chester, let's go, we're late. Chester, let's go, man, we're late. Huddle. Come on.
That's our new one.
Come on, you're killing me.
What? Okay, baby, let's do the huddle in time.
What's that, Joe?
Let's do the huddle in time.
Huddle.
Yeah, guys. It's just like feels different watching this now. What a fantastic musician, what a fantastic singer. Right. Now let's talk about vocal distortions. There is this video of Chester explaining how he does his screams. Let's give it a listen.
Linkin Park, how'd you come up with your trademark scream, you know?
You know, it's kind of a funny thing. One day we're in the studio and we're working on a song, and Mike was just like, "Do you think you could like just scream like this like thing?" And I was just like, you know, like kind of like, "Rah!" And he was like, "Yeah, can you just do that all the time?" You know what I mean? Like just forever on every song. And I was like, "I guess, yeah." You know.
Director Mike, oh, could you do it again louder and all day?
Would you like to learn how to do it?
Do I?
Yeah. Okay. So the key to screaming.
Screaming?
Yeah. Scream singing.
I think it's... Oh,
Screaming. I love it.
scream singing.
Scream
okay.
singing. It's unlike yelling, where you're like yelling at somebody. You want to like relax the voice, use your diaphragm. So when you hit it like a note, like a regular note that you would sing, like
Okay, it makes a lot of sense what he's saying about relaxing the voice. And when he says relax the diaphragm, or sorry, when he says use the diaphragm, relax the voice, use the diaphragm, the thing is, we are always using the diaphragm. However, the diaphragm is an inspiratory muscle. Whenever we breathe in, that's when we use the diaphragm. So it's not correct from a physiological perspective to think that when we expel air, when you're singing, when you're pushing air out, that we are using the diaphragm. However, what he means here is precisely that there is some force being done, but it's not about straining at the level of the larynx, applying more and more tension. There is something else going on. Maybe something at the level of the respiratory system, what we call the subglottic pressure.
like a note, like a regular note that you would
Yeah.
sing, like yeah,
Okay, we have a regular note. Yeah!
like that.
Yeah!
Yeah. Okay. See, that was great.
And he already had some distortion there.
My
Did I
God,
scream?
you're natural.
Did I scream?
So close.
Okay.
He's got it. He's got it. Don't think about it. Just feel it. It's got to come from within.
Yeah!
Yes.
Yes! Yes!
And then he starts relaxing, right? Yeah! How does that work? Well, basically, we have two main components for glottic distortions, and this is a glottic distortion, meaning that it happens at the level of the vocal folds. Some people call it fry screaming, some people call it just scream. Well, basically, you have your vocal folds when you are singing with them active, meaning that they are compressing more against the air pressure. Yeah! You have a clean sound. But then, if you still have muscles that are around the vocal folds, embracing them to create firmness, but you have the vocal folds vibrating a way that still allows some breathiness to escape, the vocal folds are not completely closed, some of that breathiness that's escaping will become hiss, and we may or may not have some other structures, especially the cartilages, and for this case here, especially the arytenoid cartilages, sometimes a little bit of the corniculate cartilages, creating a sound. So if you're singing hey, and then you just sing, I want to relax a bit more, I don't want all of that tension to make things close, you start to have that hiss and that crackling at the same time. And that's how it works. And that's precisely what Chester is explaining here. Now, because you do not have as much tension, whenever you decrease the pressure somewhere, and you have three big systems, remember this. This is also covered in depth inside my singing program, Building Your Voice. We have the transglottic pressure, meaning that we are dealing with everything basically that happens at the level of your larynx, how the muscles are behaving. That would be the transglottic pressurization system. We have the supraglottic pressurization system, everything that we are shaping and that we are controlling above the level of the larynx, but also the subglottic pressure, everything that we control regarding the respiratory system, how much air we are sending. So if we are decreasing the pressure here, because you already told us that it needs to be softer at the level of the larynx, we are reducing the tensions here. We need to increase it somewhere else so that we can still have the same balance. So what he's saying is, when he says, oh, it comes from the diaphragm, you relax your voice, what he's saying in physiological terms would be, you don't have as much transglottic pressure, hence that allow us to use more subglottic power, sending more air pressure. So you relax here and you can apply more pressure down here, and that would mean pulling your stomach in. It's not squeezing your whole abdomen, it's pulling your stomach in so that we can send more air. You're doing that with your abdominal muscles. It's not precisely the diaphragm. The diaphragm works when you breathe in. Now it's the diaphragm. Hey, now the abdominal muscles, specifically the transverse abdominis. So yeah, again, you have a clean sound, and then you work on relaxing that, and you already get some distortion. But then you work with the air pressure and relaxing even more to get those screams. Fantastic advice from Chester Bennington himself. Alright guys, that's it for the day. Let me know what you think on Chester's warm-ups and his screaming technique, and of course what you think of my analysis here. Let me know what other singers, songs, or even singing strategies, warm-ups you would like me to analyze here next. If you are curious about my own singing, sometimes you'll be listening to vocal coaches and wondering how they sound when they sing for real. I'll leave a card up here that will take you to a playlist with my original music. Again, I have a song that just got out, someone else already. I would love to hear feedback on it, and of course your feedback on my heavier songs as well. If you want to become my singing student, then click the link below to get all of the info on my online singing program, Building Your Voice, in there we cover all of these techniques here. We talk about how to belt, we talk about how to sing low notes with power, but we also talk about how to be really expressive by using passive vocal schemes and singing with a soft tone, because it's all about expressing emotion with your singing. We have a complete module on vocal distortions. How to practice and apply vocal distortions in a way that's safe for your voice, that will not harm your voice. We have a vocal exercise library for you to practice each of these techniques. All of that and much more. So again, if you want to get all of the info, click the link below and you know everything that's covered inside the program. That's all for today. You enjoy your day, you enjoy your coffee, and remember, if your concepts cannot be seen here in the real world, then they must change and not the world. See you in the next video.